The summer heat had settled heavily over our little town in Indiana, the kind that makes the air feel thick and the cicadas sing endlessly outside the windows. I had just graduated from college and moved back into my parents' house temporarily while trying to figure out the next steps in life. The house felt smaller now than when I was a kid, but it also carried a sense of safety, like a place I could retreat to while the world outside demanded answers I wasn't ready to give. My brother, Daniel, was already living back at home too. He was 2 years older than me, a confident, ambitious guy who had always been the golden child of our family. Daniel had a job lined up with a law firm in Chicago, and my parents never missed an opportunity to talk about how proud they were of him. I loved him, of course. He was my brother. But sometimes his presence made me feel like I was always standing in someone else's shadow. One night after dinner, I retreated to my room. It had been redecorated since my teenage years, but the space still held memories of who I used to be. Posters had been taken down, trophies packed away, yet the faint smell of old books and worn-out carpet reminded me of my younger self. I closed the door and sat at my desk, scrolling mindlessly through my phone, not expecting anything to happen that would alter the way I looked at my family forever. That was when Daniel knocked softly on the door, before pushing it open without waiting for me to answer. "Hey," he said, leaning against the doorframe casually, his voice carrying that same easy charm that had always made people gravitate toward him. "Do you mind?" I asked, raising my eyebrows. "Ever heard of privacy?" He smirked. "Yeah, but you're my sister. What could you possibly be doing in here that's a big secret?" I rolled my eyes, but I couldn't help smiling. That was Daniel, always teasing, always pushing boundaries just enough to annoy me without crossing a serious line. Or so I thought. That night, the conversation started innocently enough. We talked about our parents, about the future, and even laughed over embarrassing childhood memories. But slowly, I began to notice his tone shifting, his eyes studying me longer than usual. There was a weight to his words, a hesitation as though he was struggling with something he wanted to say, but didn't know how. When he finally did speak, the words hit me harder than anything I could have expected. "There's something you should know," he said quietly. "Something about me and about what I've done." I frowned, trying to gauge his seriousness. Daniel wasn't the type to confess weaknesses. He was the picture of perfection, the guy everyone wanted to be like. "What are you talking about?" I asked. He sat down on the edge of my bed, running his hand through his dark hair. His shoulders slumped, the first sign of vulnerability I'd seen from him in years. "I've made mistakes," he admitted. "Big ones. And if Mom and Dad ever find out, it'll destroy everything." My heart skipped a beat. Suddenly, the room felt smaller, the air thicker. I leaned forward. "Daniel, what did you do?" He looked me in the eyes, and I saw something there I wasn't prepared for: guilt, shame, and a kind of desperation. "I've been seeing someone I shouldn't have been seeing," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. "Someone who's already in a relationship. I didn't mean for it to happen, but it did. And now I don't know how to stop it." I froze. Infidelity was a heavy word, a wound that cut deep in families and relationships. The way he said it made my stomach twist. "Wait, who?" I asked, my voice shaking. "Daniel, who are you talking about?" His silence told me more than words. His jaw tightened, and his eyes darted away, as if he couldn't bear to say it out loud. And then, like a thunderclap in my chest, I realized the truth. It was Emily. Emily had been my best friend since high school, practically a sister to me. She was smart, beautiful, and engaged to her longtime boyfriend, Ryan. I had always admired her loyalty and the way she seemed to have her life together. The idea that she would betray Ryan, and betray me, by being with my brother was something I couldn't even begin to wrap my mind around. "Emily?" I whispered, my throat tightening. "You're telling me you've been with Emily?" Daniel's silence was all the confirmation I needed. He buried his face in his hands, groaning softly. "I didn't mean for it to happen. She came over one day to hang out with you, but you weren't home. We started talking, one thing led to another, and..." His voice trailed off. I sat back in my chair, my hands trembling. My mind replayed every moment I'd seen them together, her laughter at his jokes, the casual touches I had brushed off as friendly, the way her eyes lingered on him sometimes. All the pieces clicked together in a puzzle I wished I had never solved. "You betrayed her fiancé," I said harshly, "and you betrayed me." "I know," he said quickly, looking up at me with wide, pleading eyes. "I know I messed up, but please, you can't tell anyone. Not Mom, not Dad, not Ryan. If this gets out, it'll ruin everything. My career, her relationship, our family's reputation." I'm begging you, just keep this between us. I felt sick. My brother, the person I had grown up with, the one I trusted despite our sibling rivalries, had dragged me into a secret I wanted no part of. And Emily, my best friend, the girl I had trusted with my deepest secrets, had been part of it. Over the next weeks, the weight of what Daniel told me ate away at me. Every time Emily texted me, pretending like nothing was wrong, I felt my anger boiling beneath the surface. Every time my parents praised Daniel for being so responsible, I wanted to scream the truth. And yet I said nothing. Keeping the secret became a prison. I watched as Emily and Ryan continued planning their wedding, smiling for pictures, posting happy updates online, while I knew the truth lurking underneath it all. Daniel avoided the subject whenever he could, but sometimes he would corner me in the hallway, whispering, "You didn't say anything, did you?" As if his whole world depended on my silence. The breaking point came one Friday evening. Emily came over, bubbly and cheerful, with her engagement ring glittering on her finger. She sat on my bed, talking about flower arrangements and honeymoon destinations, her eyes sparkling with excitement. I stared at her, my chest burning with betrayal. Finally, I couldn't hold it in anymore. "How long?" I asked suddenly. She froze. "How long what?" "You and Daniel," I said bluntly. "How long has it been going on?" The color drained from her face. For a moment, I thought she might try to deny it, but then her shoulders sagged, and she looked down at her hands. "You know," she whispered. "Yes," I snapped. "I know everything. And I can't believe you would do this, to Ryan, to me." Tears welled up in her eyes. "It wasn't supposed to happen," she said, echoing Daniel's words. "I didn't plan it, but I couldn't stop. He makes me feel alive in a way Ryan doesn't." Her confession cut through me like glass. All those years of friendship, all the trust we'd built, it shattered in that moment. I told her to leave. That night, I confronted Daniel again, but this time my anger spilled over. "You need to end this," I told him. "Right now. Because if you don't, I will tell Ryan myself. He deserves to know." Daniel's face hardened, his charm gone. "You don't understand what's at stake," he said coldly.